For decades, we've been told that to build rich, healthy soil, we have to build these massive compost bins. And if you're anything like me, you know the exact feeling. That sharp catch in your rotator cuff and the tension shooting down your elbow joint every time you try to lever a heavy, wet pitchfork full of matted yard debris up and over the wall of that bin. It's exhausting, and frankly, it takes the joy right out of autumn cleanup. Picture this instead. You're standing in your garden on a quiet Saturday morning, coffee in hand, looking out at your raised beds. The soil is covered in a neat layer of chopped plant stalks, looking tidy and intentional. There's no heavy bin to wrestle with, no aching shoulders, no frustration over dry, unfinished clumps that never seem to break down. Just a clean, organized space that's quietly building itself into richer soil while you rest. Today, I'm going to show you a gentler way. We are going to completely skip the heavy lifting and hand the job over to a microscopic demolition crew already living in your yard. These little workers actually create that wonderful scent of fresh rain as they build your soil for you. We'll talk about who they are in just a moment. This method keeps your yard looking tidy. It's completely safe for the neighborhood pets wandering through, and best of all, it gives your joints a well-deserved rest. Let's start with why the old way has been letting us down. Think of a traditional compost pile like trying to bake a cake, but you have to keep opening the oven door to stir the batter. When we constantly turn a pile, we are trying to force air into the center. But if the balance of green and brown materials isn't perfectly calculated, the whole process stalls, leaving us with dry, unfinished clumps of twigs. And here's the thing. Most of us don't have the time or energy to calculate moisture ratios and carbon to nitrogen percentages like we're running a chemistry lab. The smartest thing you can do is stop hauling your debris across the yard in the first place. The most effortless approach is simply to let the organic matter stay right where it grew. Your plants pulled nutrients from that exact spot, so returning those nutrients right back to the same soil just makes sense. Now, if you are leaving plant material in your beds, just make sure you aren't dropping known toxic ornamentals like foxglove or lily leaves in areas where a curious dog might be tempted to chew. Keep the layers spread thin so pests don't decide to make a cozy nest underneath. A 2-inch layer is perfect, thick enough to feed the soil, but thin enough to stay airy and uninviting to rodents. So, if we aren't turning a pile, how do those tough, woody stalks break down? That brings us to why standard compost bacteria often fail us. Standard soil bacteria are wonderful, but they have soft boundaries. When they encounter a tough, woody plant stalk or rigid bark, it's like a person trying to eat a whole walnut without cracking the shell. They just bounce right off. That's why those thick stems sit in your compost bin for years without changing. The bacteria simply don't have the tools to penetrate dense, fibrous plant material. Now, let's have an honest moment here. No biological process works in bone-dry dust. This system gives your plants a fighting chance, but you still need to provide basic care. The soil needs consistent moisture, not soggy, but just damp, much like a wrung-out sponge, for any of this to work. If you let your beds dry out completely for weeks on end, even the toughest soil organisms will go dormant. So we're not talking about a miracle that replaces watering. We're talking about adding a powerful layer of natural support to the care you're already providing. Let me know in the comments below. Do you usually bag up your yard waste to be hauled away, or have you been wrestling with a traditional compost bin? I'd love to hear what your current routine looks like. Now, here's where it gets exciting. This is where we call in our heavy lifters, Actinomycetes. They are specialized soil organisms that bridge the gap between bacteria and fungi. Unlike standard bacteria, Actinomycetes grow incredibly fine, thread-like extensions. They act like tiny biological drill bits, physically penetrating deep into the dense cellular walls of dead wood and thick stems, dissolving them slowly from the inside out. Think of Actinomycetes like the garden's trusty slow cooker. You just chop up your tough ingredients, drop them right onto the soil, and let nature simmer them on low heat. They'll tenderize the toughest woody bits into rich soil while you sit back with absolutely no stirring required. Here's how simple this is. Instead of using a pitchfork, just grab your favorite pair of sharp hand pruners. Snip your spent plant stalks or soft twigs into pieces about 4 to 6 inches long, roughly the length of a standard ballpoint pen. Let them fall directly onto the soil surface around your plants. You want to create a mulch layer about 2 inches thick, which is about the height of a standard D-cell battery. That's it. No bins, no turning, no hauling. You're working smarter, not harder, and your Actinomycetes are doing the heavy lifting at the microscopic level. Now, timing does matter here. Actinomycetes are most active when soil temperatures remain steadily between 65 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. If you live in USDA zones 4 through 9, their peak working hours run from late spring through early autumn. Once soil temperatures drop below 50 degrees, they go dormant. So it's best to lay your chopped debris down well before the first heavy frost sets in. That gives them a good window to start breaking down the material before winter slows everything down. If you're in a warmer zone, like 8 or 9, you might see activity nearly year-round, especially during those mild winter stretches. But if you're up in zone 4 or 5, plan to do your chop and drop in late summer or early fall, so the process gets a head start before the cold arrives. One more thing I love about this method. It keeps your garden looking intentional and cared for. When neighbors walk by, they don't see a messy pile or a chaotic tangle of dead plants. They see a neatly mulched bed. That looks like you put thought into it. And meanwhile, beneath that tidy surface, an entire workforce is quietly building your soil structure, improving drainage, and increasing the organic matter content season after season. You might be wondering, what does this actually feel like when it's working? Remember that scent of fresh rain I mentioned earlier? As Actinomycetes break down those tough fibers, they release a natural compound called geosmin. When you step out into your garden after a light rain and smell that rich, earthy fragrance, that is the exact scent of geosmin. It is the literal proof that your natural support system is actively digesting organic matter and building healthy humus. This isn't a miraculous overnight fertilizer. It's a multi-season structural investment that strengthens your garden's natural defenses over time. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and see your soil transformed. But over the course of a growing season or two, you'll notice the soil becoming darker, more crumbly, easier to work with. You'll see your plants rooting more deeply and holding up better during dry spells. And you'll feel the difference in your own body, because you're not spending your weekends wrestling with heavy, awkward compost equipment. Imagine this. It's a Sunday morning in late spring. You've just finished your coffee on the porch. You walk out to check on your tomato bed, and the soil is soft and dark beneath a thin, decomposing layer of last season's chopped stalks. You kneel down easily, no strain, and tuck in a new transplant. The soil smells clean and alive. Your knees don't ache. Your shoulders feel loose. And you know, without a doubt, that your garden is feeding itself while you enjoy the process instead of dreading it. That's the difference between fighting against your garden and working alongside it. By switching to the chop and drop method, your weekly compost turning labor drops to exactly 0 minutes. You get to enjoy a thriving, self-feeding garden, and your shoulders and elbows finally get to rest and enjoy the view. If you enjoyed this gentler approach to working with nature, please subscribe to Senior Garden Guide for more lazy smart gardening wisdom. And don't forget to let me know in the comments how you usually handle your fall garden cleanup. Do you chop and drop, or are you still turning a traditional pile? I'd love to hear your experience. Until next time, take it easy out there, and happy gardening.